The right-wing think tank, the Heritage Foundation, hosted an event with the Discovery Institute where a guy named John G. West gave a speech about the problem with the show Cosmos. His entire speech was about how bad science is and look out for it. Watch.
The White House wanted the president to tape, and he did, an official introduction to the series, and producers agreed. Cosmos portrayed religion as the enemy of science, claimed that science shows how life originated through blind and unguided processes, and even compared climate change skeptics to Nazis. That a sitting president of the United States would use the power of his office to sell this series to the American public is remarkable and revealing. Yet, as I point out in my book, in many ways, the Obama administration's record on science reflects trends that span both political parties and have become ever more pronounced during the last several years. Our culture is witnessing the second coming of what I would call totalitarian science. You can also call it just scientism, but the reason I use the word totalitarian science is that it's a view of science as so totalistic in its outlook that its defenders claim the right to remake every sphere of human life, from public policy to education to ethics to religion.
No, that's what you do! The projection. They can't stop with projection. No, everything you just described is exactly what religion tries to do. Religion is totalitarian by its nature. Because by its nature, insofar as you believe it, it's holy, it's from God. The words are, you can't change them. They're set in stone. They're true by definition. And it changes your life, and this is how you're supposed to live your life according to the rules and the dictates of this 1,000-year-old holy book. It's not religion that's it's not science that's totalitarian and dogmatic. It's religion that's totalitarian and dogmatic. In fact, science is as humble as it gets. It's always hilarious when people attack science as being arrogant or totalitarian like he just did, because science is constantly changing and updating with new information and new evidence. Science is the only area where you're going to have scientists and researchers come out and say, yeah, the new evidence changes what my idea on this was, and then when you factor that in, it changes the entire outlook and reasons X, Y, and Z. Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins talk about this all the time. When they're at their respective science conferences, you're never in a room more where people are hedging on what their point is and on what their position is. Anytime a scientist says anything, he's like, I'm not really the best in this field, and this isn't my area of expertise. I think Johnny knows more about this area than I do, but my idea about it is maybe, and then they'll go on and explain something. I've noticed it myself with my one of my best friends' dad is a well-known doctor, world-renowned doctor. And whenever I talk to him about things that I thought were interesting about science or medicine in the news, and I'll ask him something and I'll bring something up, if he doesn't know, he's the first to say very quickly, oh, I don't know. But and I'll be like, well, but what about this? He's like, no, I don't know. It's not, I haven't studied it. I don't know. And then whenever I was over that friend's house, you'd see his dad eating dinner or something. He'd always have the new scientific journals out, reading through the studies. That's true humility. The actual arrogance and the dogmatism and the totalitarianism and the authoritarianism, it's all on the side of religion. Religion says, this is not going to change. This is the word of God. It is what it is. Whereas science says, you got new evidence, present the evidence, and we'll reevaluate, because we reevaluate all the fucking time. And also, understand that science is the process by which we ascertain the truth about the universe. So it's not like a thing. It's a process. When people talk about it and just use one word, it's kind of misleading, like science, one word. It makes it seem like this set thing. No, it's a process. There are steps by which you ascertain the truth about the nature of reality. You propose a hypothesis, and then you test it, and then you got to retest it. If it fails, you go back to the drawing board. There's all these things that go into it. So to say, hey, totalitarian science is a problem, or scientism is another thing he referred to it as, and people online talk about it too. There's no such thing as scientism. It doesn't exist. You can't over-rely on the process by which you ascertain the nature of reality. That's absurd. Hey man, you're over-relying on that process by which you ascertain the truth. Guilty. Yeah, I'm relying on an empirical process to get the truth about reality. Yeah, you can't over-rely on that, by definition. I mean, there might be an area where we don't have answers yet, but that doesn't mean you say, oh, but the science isn't allowed in this area. Why not? Why wouldn't it be allowed in this area? Well, the only people who say that are the arrogant, dogmatic, totalitarian, religious people who say, no, your science can't trespass on this area because I say so. But we're the dogmatic ones? You're the one saying, can't talk about this thing. Science needs to stay away from this. But we're dogmatic. No, you're dogmatic. So I like now, though, that you have people on the right just admitting it now. When you come out and you argue against the show Cosmos, it's not the idea that there's like the main focus of it is a political focus, or like it's nefarious and they're working behind the scenes to do X, Y, or Z. No. The whole purpose of the show Cosmos, yes, it is to inspire people and get them involved in science, but it's also just to educate and get the facts out there and to, talk about the glory of the universe and how beautiful it is and all of its different weird, quirky things and all the crazy, mind-blowing facts. So when you come out and just argue against the idea of the show Cosmos, you're not gaining anybody on your side, because I have news for you. Even people who are moderate religious people look at a show like Cosmos and they go, yeah, no, rock and roll. I can believe loosely in this thing that I was raised in and my religion and call myself a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. But yeah, no, all that's true, because they're right about that. They're right. So when you bite off more than you can chew, what you're doing is you're really raising your hand and saying, we are the dunces. We are the dunce party. Come to our side if you want to live in a world that's not the real world, and you want to embrace your insecure, petty emotions, and you want to be loud about the fact that you need this comfort pillow to lay down on at night called religion. Come to our side if you want to be an insecure little punk idiot who denies facts about reality. We'll welcome you over here. Well, go ahead. Go on that side if you want to, but the rest of us, not just liberals, not just progressives, but everybody else, we'll all be laughing at you.